Hi, everybody. It's Craig and Arun back with your Friday college football. We got a triple header here. We're going to have 3 games for you before, and this is for October 10th. Before I get to it, don't forget, use that 10% off code to save 10% off our absolute best place. Do we like these games? Yeah, this is like small leans. But if you want to find out what we really like, get in on the winning side. Use that promo code TACOWIN10 to save 10% off. If you're a new customer, you can get $10 or $60 free to check us out. So the link is on the screen, docsports.com/ICCT. All right, IC, let's go. South Florida and North Texas, 2 really good teams. South Florida's 4-1. The only loss is to a top 3 team in Miami, at Miami. Now in North Texas, undefeated 5-0, and they are slight favorite here, -1, total 68. What do you like here?
It's going to be a great game. I just want you to point out that the total sits at 68 in this game, which seems like ridiculously high, right? And North Texas. So a couple of notes here, some housekeeping for us. So keep in mind that South Florida here returns multiple starters on the offensive line, right? So that's what makes them pretty good here. They've had a great deal of success. North Texas, obviously South Florida's head coach is Alex Golesh, which is in his 3rd year. And he used to be the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach at Washington State under Jake Dickert, and earlier before that with Josh Heupel in Tennessee. So he's a fantastic offensive-minded coach. Eric Norris here of North Texas. He was the offensive coordinator at Washington State. That's the reason why they beat the living snot out of Washington State, because that was a school that he used to coach at. So you have 2 offensive-minded coaches here, which is why this total sits at 68. Now, South Florida, of course, comes off a nice win against Charlotte. But really, they're known for their win against Florida and Boise State to start the year, and then they got demolished by Miami. And then you have a North Texas team, which is known for their big win against Washington State, 59-10. But that's about it, right? I think what happens here is you have a North Texas team who only scored 14 points in the first half against South Alabama. They didn't play that well. Maybe they're looking ahead at this game. I think they're going to have a fantastic offensive efficiency. And then you have a South Florida team that rolls in this game that put up 63 and 54 the last 2 games. Outside of that Florida game, they've put up at least 30 points in each one of those games. I really like the over here. I think both these teams want to show what they can do. I think both these teams will, being on the national stage now, South Florida is becoming more and more of a national brand at this point, and I wouldn't be shocked at all here to see this game go over the postal total. Can't really take a side. If I had to, I'd probably take South Florida. They have the better quality wins by far, right, with the Florida win and with the Boise State win. So my lean would be here on South Florida and the over. But if I had to take something, it's probably the over, probably a little safer. But the more I think about it, the more I think with the quality of wins, it could be South Florida. I might not just mess with the total either. So now I'm talking myself out of it. So I'm probably going to take South Florida plus the 1 the more I think about it, just because I got to tell you, Craig, when you beat Boise State and you beat Florida, it's impressive. I mean, in a full game, spanning about 48 minutes, when you beat those 2 schools, especially Boise State.
And they weren't close, by the way. Neither game was really close. They were winning throughout. It wasn't a fluke win on either one of them.
So really the only bad game South Florida's played is Miami. And they did lose their last road game, which is going to make them even more focused coming into this road game, because you're taking an entire crew of like 100 people with you. And then you go lose on the road. You're going to be focused on your next road game. Give me South Florida. Craig, Fresno is playing Colorado State here on the road, -7. And I got to tell you, Fresno is 5-1. Colorado State is 1-4. Seems like 2 programs, especially Jay Norville, had such an uptick in the previous years. And now it looks like he's regressing here very clearly. And sometimes coaches do that. Fresno, on the other hand, it seems to be on a massive uptick, right? After they lost to Kansas, beating Southern, Georgia Southern, Oregon State, Southern, Hawaii, and Nevada. They did have lost back-to-back covers here, but they're 5-1. Colorado State got throttled by San Diego State in a very disappointing game, 24-45. They lost to Washington State 3-20. They lost to Texas San Antonio 60-17. Do you think Colorado State bounces back, or do things continue to get worse? I mean, Colorado State was down 28-10 in that game against San Diego State. Craig, you think? But 77% is riding Fresno here, which is a little scary on a total of 46.5. Who do you like?
If you ever were going to take an under, this seems like it would be the game, because Colorado State was embarrassed. That is a San Diego State team that scored 6 points the previous week, won 6-3. So it's not like this is an explosive offense. Their defense is good, but their offense isn't. Colorado State they didn't man up, and I think they'll bounce back a little bit in this spot. Fresno State likes to run the ball. So you don't get a lot of possessions in Fresno State's game. They have a great running game. I do think Fresno State wins and covers, but I think the stronger play, you take the under in this matchup. I just think Colorado State, you got to, what they say, grab your cojones and come and play. They're going to have to in this one, because if you don't, Fresno State they'll win 42-0, because they'll just run the ball right down your throat all day long. I think you take the under in this matchup. If you say I had to take a side, I would take Fresno State -7 and hold my nose. Next game, the best game on the board. Well, I don't know. That South Florida North Texas game is going to end up mattering potentially this year. But Rutgers and Washington. Washington, I know you probably don't like this Washington team a whole lot. Last week they didn't play at all the first half. They dominate the last quarter and do win, but they did not get the cover. Rutgers has been solid underdog this year. Washington favored by 10.5, total 58.5. Is this one going to be on your board this week?
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to go against either of these teams, right? Rutgers coming off that loss to Minnesota 28-31. You have a Greg Schiano coach team who also lost 28-38 against Iowa. They don't have any quality wins, to be honest with you. And then Washington, of course, barely got by Maryland, but maybe they start off this game faster in this game. So maybe we overvalue their wins against Colorado State, UC Davis, Washington State, and maybe we just overvalue. Maybe just Ohio State sucked more than Washington actually played pretty well. Maybe that's what it was. But it's all good. I went 4-2 the previous week, 5-1 the week before that. We're going to we still had a winning football season. But it's actually going to be a good thing long term. But I will tell you this, Rutgers, you have Greg Schiano, who's a defensive minded coach. He used to obviously be the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at one point. So talk about a guy that's got a lot of experience. Jed Fish here, had a slow start here. He used to coach with obviously the Michigan and the Jaguars and the Patriots. I think this game likely, the total, what's shocking to me is the total sits at 58.5. And, with Rutgers coming off back-to-back losses, but they're such a massive dog here. But I will tell you this, it is worrisome for Rutgers that they came off of a loss to Iowa, and then they turned around and lost to Minnesota. And that was a game where they were up 21-14, and then they sort of fell apart. And I think they very well could bounce back after back-to-back losses. This is a hard game to predict. Does Washington have a huge letdown, or does Washington think, man, we got really lucky and they really focus in this game? Rutgers did win 21-18 last year. Washington, of course, Rutgers at the end of the day, Craig, they still don't have any quality wins. Yep. Ohio, Miami of Ohio, and Norfolk don't count to me. And then Washington, of course, doesn't have any particular quality wins either. That Maryland win, I guess, is a quality win at this point, but that was a big comeback late, but maybe they figured some things out here. And I think what'll probably happen here is will take Washington, just because I just think they played so bad for the first three quarters. And I think they're going to be really, really focused coming into this game. And even though I hate going against Rutgers after back-to-back losses, I'm not messing with a total here. I'm going to back Washington to be sharper and more focused right out of the gates.
Yeah, don't forget, that was a tough spot for Washington. It was, that was disappointing. They didn't play better the second half against Ohio State. And then this is a weekday, where they have a short week coming back across country to play this Friday game. So it was kind of a little sandwich spot as well. So maybe they just didn't handle it. It's a young coaching staff, a young team, and that happens. Maybe they learned something a lot, and maybe we see a much better performance this week. And it'll be on national television where everybody's going to see them. So I like that play. Don't forget, if you want to get on all of our plays, we cover every college football, every NFL game. So if you click this video right after, you could go right to that link. Also, it's in the description. But if you want to get on our best plays, it's very simple. Use that 10% off promo code. It's Taco Win 10 all week long. You get $30 if you want to over a top play, or $99 get you all the plays for the week. IC does 6 to 7 plays every week. I do usually 6 to 9. Last week was 8. I was 5-3 last week, I believe. Small profit. No, don't get me started on the over in that Bills game. That one cost me. But we're bounced back tonight this week, so make sure you get in on them. Good luck. We'll see you again on the next one.